All right. Good morning. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us for this informational session on energy efficiency for businesses and nonprofits. My name is Sophie Molinax. I'm the manager of the Blue Horizons Project, which is a community clean energy campaign here in Buncombe County, North Carolina. And we are a collaboration between the city of Asheville, Buncombe County, hosted at Greenbelt Alliance, the collaborations with Duke Energy as well, I'm sorry, and a variety of community partners and individuals in Buncombe County. We're a community-wide effort that was born out of the former Energy Innovation Task Force. And we're dedicated to creating a cleaner energy future for Asheville and all of Buncombe County. And our goal is to enlist public support and provide easy access to education, resources, and technical assistance designed to make new and existing homes and buildings more efficient and to support the adoption of renewable energy in support of a cleaner energy future and 100% renewable energy here in Buncombe County. For those who may not be familiar, Buncombe County and the city of Asheville have both adopted 100% renewable energy resolutions by 2042 for our entire community. And we and the folks we work with firmly believe, and the research supports this, that energy efficiency is the foundation of clean energy. So this is just a brief overview of some of the work that we do in our community here. We are advised by an entity called the Blue Horizons Project Community Council, which has local government, local businesses, and community members represented on it to advise our work strategically. We do a program called Energy Savers Network, which provides free weatherization and energy efficiency upgrades for low-income households in Buncombe County. We've weatherized over 600 homes since 2017. We are currently in the middle of a Solarize campaign in Asheville, which is a bulk buy community campaign for purchasing solar at crowdsourced prices. And we have over 1 megawatt of new solar committed to be installed by the end of 2021 through this campaign. We also have a program through this campaign that provides free and reduced cost solar to low-income families and families of color in Buncombe County. And we have 10 free systems so far under contract. We also do outreach and education around commercial and residential energy efficiency. We are tasked with planning and creating a strategic plan for the 100% renewable energy transition here locally. And we do a wide variety of community engagement work in our community, including hosting and attending various events, running social media, website, and traditional media campaigns, and individual home energy consultations for residents called home energy chats. That's a little bit about us. We're financially supported by a joint contract with the city of Asheville and Buncombe County, and we receive funding from Duke Energy to fund some of our low-income weatherization programming through fee-for-service and Helping Home Fund. And we are housed at the Greenbelt Alliance, which is a local member-based green building nonprofit here in Asheville. So today's workshop will cover an overview, which I've just done, general information about building energy and conservation from Megan and Bryant, who are with Southface Institute in Atlanta, Georgia, an overview of Land of Sky waste reduction partners with Russ, and then the available Duke Energy programs and incentives and resources to save energy and money. We'll also then do a question and answer, and I'll also post the recording of this and send it out to everyone if you wanted to provide me your email. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Megan and Bryant.
All right, thank you, Sophie. So I'll kick. Bryant, I think we might, never mind. If you'll go ahead to the today's topic slide. Thank you, Bryant. All right, so hi everyone, and thank you, Sophie. My name's Megan O'Neill. I'm the program manager for Sustainable Cities here at Southface Energy Institute, and I'm joined by my colleague Bryant Haynes, the Senior Technical Project Manager for Research, and we're excited to be speaking with you today. We'll move on to the next slide. Today, we are going to run through an intro to our organization, which you may or may not have heard of, and talk through building energy conservation opportunities ways energy is used and wasted, and practical and effective strategies for energy saving. The next slide. About Southface, we are a membership-based nonprofit organization that's been operating in Atlanta, Georgia since 1978. We work with 30 plus states across the country to help advance energy efficiency and renewable energy in the built environment. We're focused on sustainable homes, workplaces, and communities through what we like to call our 4 pillars of education, research, advocacy, and technical assistance. You'll see the picture here is of our main campus, and I'll just orient you to some of the cool things we're doing there in terms of efficiency. On the left, you'll see the Resource Center, which was built in 1996 in preparation for the Summer Olympics to design and build a residential home demonstration workspace. And then on the right there with the green roof and the solar panels on top is what we call our Eco Office, which was completed in 2009 and is a 3-story commercial research and demonstration facility with an accessible green roof, Earthcraft-like commercial, and platinum certification at just over 10,000 square feet. This is about the same size as 74% of the commercial building market, but uses 50% less energy and 84% less water than a comparable code-built facility. We have an Energy Star score of 94. So you'll jump ahead 2 slides, Bryant. We'll just talk through building energy conservation and why it's important. So always keep the why top of mind when things are complicated or unrealistic. Remember how much success matters and the benefits it brings. So when you talk about energy conservation here, you can see reduced energy burden, which represents the percentage of family household income that is spent on utility bills every month. Healthier homes and communities, meaning less energy used in a home means less energy produced, which creates healthier indoor air and less pollution. Energy efficiency jobs are, by definition, jobs that you can't outsource because they involve people coming into your home or your workplace to make your building more efficient. And that leads to local job creation. And this can help with economic growth and leadership in your city. So the next slide, I'll talk a little bit about energy burden, which, as I mentioned, is the percent of your income that goes towards an energy bill. And you'll know that the FDIC has cited that the #1 reason why people take out a short-term loan is to pay a utility bill. And 31% of Americans have gone without a meal or a prescription to pay a bill. Energy burden has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic due to higher energy use in homes and impacted incomes from work lost. The residential efficiency and solar can really help reduce burden, increase home comfort, create jobs, and stimulate the local economy. And with the next slide, I'm going to hand things over to my colleague, Bryant, who can speak in much greater detail on common ways that energy is used and wasted in the built environment.
Hi, I'm Bryant. I am an engineer at Southface. I do a lot of commercial and residential energy efficiency and energy assessments. And then I also do a lot of applied building science research as part of research funded by the Department of Energy. A lot of our research recently has focused on HVAC, ventilation, and indoor air quality. So if you have any questions about indoor air quality, well, I might be opening up myself to a lot of questions, but if you have any questions during the Q&A period, I'm happy to answer those too. All right, so energy, everyone knows energy is essential. We use it for all sorts of stuff. We use natural gas for heating, cooking, water heating. Oop, I'm gonna mute. Okay, there you go, thank you. Electricity is used for lighting, for cooling, for electronics, anything that's plugged into outlets. Then gasoline is used for driving. I'm going to keep it at sort of a high level here as much as I can because there's kind of a lot to cover. So there's residential and generally speaking, there's residential and there's commercial buildings. Residential, there's single family buildings, and then there are sort of low rise multifamily buildings, and then above that, it's generally considered commercial. There's also, industrial as well. But residential and commercial are kind of the two, main groups. So buildings are the largest carbon emitters of all the energy usage end uses in the country, and low performing buildings have a lot of room for improvement, and usually the lowest performing buildings aren't being engaged. So they're sort of the hardest to reach, and the ones that we try to interact with at Southface through our different grant programs. So building energy consumption, it's about 40% of all energy goes to buildings, 40% of resources, and 25% of water. All right, so how we use energy, basically working from the bottom up in this pyramid, the easiest ways to reduce energy usage are to just turn off or turn down things when you're not using them. So turning off lights, turning down thermostats, in commercial buildings, you can automate these kind of things. And then the second thing is to perform the same task, but do it more efficiently. And so that would be sort of the broad category of energy efficiency. So that's using more efficient lighting. Nowadays, I would say only do LEDs, don't even bother with compact fluorescents. Better insulation, higher efficiency HVAC, different building envelope improvements. And then sort of the third way is to then, generate your own energy with renewable energy, whether that's solar or wind or geothermal or biomass. All right, so building envelope basics. One of the main ways that energy is wasted is through excess use of heating and cooling. And one of the reasons that heating and cooling uses a lot of energy is to try to make up for the fact that there's leaks in your building envelope. So the building envelope is basically what separates the conditioned area of your building from the unconditioned outside. And so some really fast payback energy efficiency projects are to do general air sealing, and usually the hot spots for air sealing are any penetrations through the building envelope. So sealing around, you see in the picture on the bottom left, sealing around penetrations where wires come out, or where ducts go in and out of the building, or where vents go in and out of the building. Also, upgrading insulation if you're if you have places where you either don't have insulation or you're sort of below code. All right, I'm not going to get too much into this, but thermodynamics, is sort of a big topic when it comes to energy efficiency in buildings. If you want a 1 hour sort of intro to building science course, we have a free one you can get on Southface's website. Up at the top there. But basically thermodynamics is concerned with the movement of moisture, air, and heat. There's 3 different ways that heat is transferred: conduction, radiation, and convection. I'm not going to get into each of those. If you have questions at the end, I can take them, or you can watch the free building science course. So, what are some practical and effective strategies for energy savings? So lighting is a big one. In residential, lighting accounts for, somewhere around 10% of electricity usage. In commercial, it's closer to 25% of electricity usage. So if you can cut down on your lighting, that has a pretty big impact on your overall electric bill. Basically, LEDs use about 85% less energy to produce the same light when compared with incandescent bulbs, and about half the energy when compared to fluorescent bulbs. And the same thing goes for commercial troffer lights, the sort of 2 foot by 4 foot recessed lights that you have in, a drop ceiling in most commercial buildings. Those fluorescent tubes, if you can retrofit those with LED equivalents, then it'll use about half the amount of energy as the existing fluorescent bulbs. Another way to reduce lighting energy usage is through controls. And so those are things like occupancy sensors and photocells. And what a photocell does is senses how much light is in the room currently, and it can automatically dim or brighten the lights to maintain an equal level of light. And so when it's bright outside and you have sufficient sunlight, then it'll dim, and that process is called generally speaking daylight harvesting. So as I said before, weatherization is a big way to save energy. Usually there's really fast paybacks when it comes to insulating uninsulated buildings and insulating uninsulated or poorly insulated buildings, and then also air sealing. There's all different things that go into building weatherization. I can go into those more in detail if anybody has any questions. And it's also covered in that hour-long class, that free hour-long class on Southface's website. So some commercial building envelope improvements are a cool white roof. Usually it's TPO, but there's other technologies now that are available. So it's a white roof, and so it reflects a lot of the heat from the sun. It also, helps. It also emits heat from the building. So two ways to improve insulation in a commercial flat roof building. One is spray foam below the roof deck if you're not replacing your roof anytime soon. But if you are replacing a roof, that's the best time to upgrade your roof insulation because usually it's above the roof deck, and you can add insulation and bring it up to code. The bottom left picture shows continuous wall insulation sort of on the bottom half. This was a project where they were, before they had framed in the store, they went ahead and insulated it. So you can see that there's continuous insulation before the batt insulation. And continuous insulation is important, especially if you have metal studs, because the metal acts like a thermal bridge. So the continuous insulation really breaks up that heat transfer. All right, so another way to save HVAC energy is by actually upgrading the HVAC equipment. So if you plan to stay in your home or your business a while, the return on investment makes sense. It's usually between 10 and 20 years. It depends on your average cost of electricity, of course. But a 14 SEER that's the minimum efficiency for a 5-ton and under air conditioning or heat pump unit. Now that's about 30% more efficient than maybe like an old 10 SEER unit. So that's what you would get if you just bought sort of the minimum current efficiency. If you invest a little bit more money, about 30% more usually, you can get a 16 SEER, and that's 13% more than 14 SEER and 38% more efficient than the 10 SEER. And if you're willing to invest even more money, still similar, 10 to 20 year payback, about 75% more than the minimum replacement, you can get a 20 SEER unit that's 50% more efficient than 10 SEER and 30% more efficient than the current 14 SEER minimum. Another way to heat or cool your home or business efficiently is with mini split heat pumps. These units, they don't have, usually they don't have ducts, so there's no duct losses, and they also tend to be really highly efficient, and that's because they're all variable speed, both compressor and blower. And you can buy them too, that they're available in with low ambient operation capacity, so that even in the middle of the winter, it'll use the efficient heat pump for heat instead of electric resistance heating or other inefficient ways of heating. Okay, so for maybe like slightly larger commercial there's rooftop units are kind of the main way that that's done with sort of small to medium commercial type buildings. If you're looking at a 5-ton unit, just for example, 5-ton or under RTU, 14 SEER would be the current minimum efficiency, and SEER stands for Seasonal Energy Efficiency Rating, by the way. The higher the SEER, the more efficient it is. And similar to the sort of split system residential style, you can upgrade to 16 SEER or even the highest efficiency, around 20 SEER. For RTUs, it tends to be a little bit cheaper and faster payback to upgrade, and that's because they're they're assembled at the factory instead of split systems that tend to be assembled on site. And so you're kind of paying for the same labor to lift it on the roof with a crane instead of the labor to set up a more complex system like in a split system. So another thing you can do with RTUs is you can switch over to heat pump heat if you have a gas furnace RTU, and that's good if you're trying to electrify your building and use electricity and get away from fossil fuels. It also allows you to have more efficient heat because as far as I've seen, there's no such thing as a condensing gas RTU furnace. So 80% is the highest efficiency you can get in a gas RTU, whereas heat pumps let you have coefficients of performance of 3 to 4, somewhere in there. So even larger commercial buildings, they'll have, there's all different ways to do this, but usually you're pumping water instead of air. You're chilling water or heating up water and pumping that to air handlers. And there's kind of 2 broad categories of chillers, and that's what you use to cool the water that you then circulate. So there's air-cooled chillers and water-cooled chillers, and then the water itself is circulated with a large pump. Usually it's somewhere in the range of 5 to 15 horsepower. And so some upgrades you can do there. They have air-cooled chillers that are more efficient than others. So you can invest in a more efficient chiller, and then they also have water-cooled chillers that are more efficient than others. You can invest in also a more efficient water-cooled chiller. Now water-cooled chillers tend to require more skilled maintenance and upkeep than air-cooled chillers, and they're more efficient. Water-cooled systems are more efficient than air-cooled systems, but they use a lot of water, and you need that cooling tower, which is the top right picture, to on the outside of your building to evaporate that water and work with the chiller. One way to also save energy with these type of systems is to make them sort of true variable speed systems, where you have a variable speed chiller, and then you convert your pump to a variable speed pump with a variable frequency drive. That's a VFD. That's on the top left picture. It's sort of in the top right there, and I'm pretty sure there's energy efficiency rebates available for that type of project. But also these type of systems, they're considered non-unitary systems. So there's a lot of components that are tied together with automation, with different controls, and so retrocommissioning of these type of systems is important, and that usually has a pretty fast payback because they tend to drift over time. And so the payback is it's usually between 3 and 5 years to do a retrocommissioning project. All right, so if you want to upgrade your HVAC controls, depending on your system type and scope, there's different options. Wi-Fi thermostats are good for sort of smaller commercial, residential, when you have a couple RTUs or a couple split systems. There's some brands that offer low-cost multiple thermostat managing software, so you can sort of group and schedule different thermostats rather than just looking at your phone doing it individually. There's also a type of thermostat, a learning thermostats, that would be like the Nest thermostat, which automatically schedules setbacks. based on occupancy. And then building automation systems are what you get into when you start having these larger, more complex commercial HVAC systems. And there's some newer building automation systems out there now that are artificial intelligence based, and they have lower upfront costs, but they're pretty new to the market. So that's something you might be interested in as well. All right, so real quick, some real life applications. We run a grant program where we provide a energy audit and grant money to implement energy efficiency and water efficiency projects to nonprofits. And so one of them is a dance studio, and so we install programmable thermostats, low flow faucets in the kitchens, or in the kitchen, washing machines, high efficiency washing machines, timers on the hot water recirculation pumps, and lowering the water temperature, and then different like sort of behavioral improvements. And we were able to reduce the electricity usage by 21%, the gas usage by 34%, and the water usage by 24%. Another one is Big Brothers Big Sisters facility upgrade, where we replaced the HVAC system, the lighting, retrofitted that with LED. Did some other indoor air quality type improvements, and they were able to save their energy and water by about 54%. All right, so I'll stop sharing and hand it off to the next person.
Great, thanks so much, Brian and Megan. Russ, you're up.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm Russ Jordan with Waste Reduction Partners. I coordinate our energy work. And let's see, I need to go back to the top here. So I want to tell you a little bit about Waste Reduction Partners. We're part of the Land to Sky Regional Council of Governments, and we're also working in partnership with DEQ here in North Carolina. And we work statewide, not just in Buncombe County, but we have volunteers who are, for the most part, retired engineers and scientists, and a roster of some 40 across the state. And we utilize them to go out and do assessments in the areas of energy, water efficiency, and solid waste reduction. And most of these are done at no cost. Occasionally we enter into a contract. For instance, with the city of Asheville, we had a contract to do energy efficiency assessments at all the fire departments. And so, but typically one-on-one business assessments are done at no cost. And we do that through, we have funding through the State Energy Office and also USDA for some rural business clients. So in 2021, even though obviously with the pandemic, we couldn't make as many on-site visits, we did accomplish quite a bit of work virtually. We're back to doing on-site visits now. So through all of our work, we worked with 95 clients last year in 46 counties in the state, and identified almost $24.5 million in client savings. And then you can see the energy savings for 24 million BTUs. And so we're proud of what we were able to do with limited site visits over the past year. So with our energy efficiency assistance, we analyze utility bills and benchmark energy use, target the energy uses at the facility, and some of the things we review are the building envelope, demand reduction, financing options, and we provide a written report with cost benefit analysis, and we also support strategic energy planning initiatives. So our clients are anybody that's not residential, And so small businesses, nonprofits, public buildings, any of those fall into what we're able to look at no cost. So our assessment process, there's some contact information at the end of this PowerPoint, but another way is to initiate a project through our website, and then the appropriate program manager, whether it's water, energy, or solid waste, will call you for discussion. For energy, we have a pre-assessment form that we prefer that our clients fill out. It's not real complicated. It's just 4 pages, and the first page is contact information, and then we need at least 12 months utility history, and that's cost and consumption. And then there's areas to fill in about lighting, HVAC, compressed air, water heating or process, and what have you. And then we have an on-site team assessment depending on the size of the facility. We might go visit anywhere from a 2,000 square foot facility, or maybe even less, up to something that's 500,000 square feet. So for small assessments, we might only have one engineer visit. If it's a larger assessment, we might have a team. And then our goal, assuming we've been furnished with the information we need, is to have a report back in a month, basically. For our water efficiency assistance in Buncombe County, we have a contract with the city to do water assessments. So you see there that the water assessors do a utility bill analysis, a water balance, uses, recommendations, cost benefit analysis. And then on solid waste assessments, we work with a lot of folks that are attempting to do zero waste to landfill and hooking them up with vendors and that kind of thing. So we worked with 47 businesses last year and had pretty considerable savings identified. So as I mentioned earlier, you can initiate a project on our website. You can contact me for energy efficiency assessments, Tom Kimmel for water assessments, and Jan Harden for solid waste assessments. So I've gone through that kind of quickly because I know we're short on time. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask, and we're happy to work with you and help you identify projects that you can embark upon to improve your efficiency.
Great, thank you so much, Russ.
Yes,
Brantley with Duke Energy is next. And then we'll move on to question and answers at the end. Hey, Brantley, if you're speaking, I'm not sure that we can hear you.
Hey there, looks like I timed out. Sorry about that. Let's see. Okay, can y'all see my screen okay?
Yep.
Okay. So my name is Brantley Best. I'm a business energy advisor with Duke Energy. I've been with our group for, we've had this group stood up for about 6 or 7 years now. And I cover a territory of Western North Carolina and upstate South Carolina. So I really just wanted to give a high-level overview of everything that we have in our group that we offer. So just a real quick lay of the land about what our group does. So the Business Energy Advisor team, we work with commercial and business customers, and we provide guidance for energy needs. So we have in partnership with a lot of different programs, which we'll get into. So we partner with all those internal programs to do things like payout incentives on everything that Bryant and Russ were discussing. Energy efficiency measures, that's kind of our first fuel, and it's the thing that's the most important to our group is energy efficiency. But we also do things like help you with outdoor lighting needs, electric vehicle charging stations, and really everything that the utility covers. We partner with small and medium businesses to help realize some of those measures. So that's our team in a nutshell. So what we want to do is partner with you. If you have a business that you're not quite sure if you have the best or most efficient rate that we offer. So maybe your business hours have changed after COVID, or maybe we have new and better rates. So what our group will be able to do is look through 24 months of your previous history, usage reports, and then we're able to put your rate through a tool that we can analyze all the available rates to just make sure that you're on the best available rate that we offer. This is more of peace of mind. I mean, it's 9 times out of 10 we're going to have you on the most efficient rate, but like I said, if your business hours have changed and maybe there's a better rate available for you, we'll look into that for you. And if you are opted into our energy efficiency rider, you're going to be eligible for most all of this stuff. So I wanted to start out with our Smart Saver Incentive Rebate Program. Again, most of the stuff that Bryant and Russ covered, we pay incentives on. The most particular thing that we see, or the most frequent thing that we see, is LED rebate. So if you're converting from metal halides or T8, T12 fluorescent bulbs down to LEDs, we're going to be able to pay an incentive on that. HVAC rebates, again, we pay so many incentives on so many different things that the business energy advisor approach is what we suggest. So reach out to me or somebody on our team. We're going to actually come out to your location, do a full walkthrough, and then really plug you into everything that you're eligible for. And so this Smart Saver Incentive Program is generally the program that fits everybody's needs. So we've got over 400 prescriptive incentive measures, but we also have a performance option component to this program. So a lot of times, if you just go out and solicit offers from a third-party company, they come in and tell you what they believe that they can do through their efficiency measures, then they install, you pay, and then they're out the door. Through the performance measure aspect of this, it's you give away a little bit of the performance risk. So the whatever company comes in and installs these measures, we're tracking that through a period of time, so you don't have to take on all the risk there. We're making sure that the trade ally that you've chosen to work with is delivering on what they promised. And then just lastly, within the Smart Saver Incentive Rebate Program is our custom incentive program. So we see from time to time businesses get really creative. So pretty much with this custom program, if it's outside the realm of what we incentivize through our prescriptive program, and you can prove kilowatt hour savings, we're going to try to incentivize that. We're going to try to give you some dollars for making that move. And then, so moving on to our, really, this is about the only turnkey solution that we have within our group, and it's the Small Business Energy Saver Program. So qualifying customers, and this is if you are under a certain kilowatt hour threshold. So certain customers that qualify for the SBES program, this is turnkey lighting, HVAC optimization, refrigeration. So what we're going to do is bring a representative out to do a full audit of your facility, and do a turnkey project, implementation, installation, and all. So this is if you're eligible for the program, this is really one of my first suggestions, is to get an audit. It's no obligation to you. We come out, we provide everything that you need through that program. And then the utility, Duke Energy, pays a significant portion of that program through incentives. So there's no application on this. It's all turnkey. We do it all. So I would highly recommend that program if you're eligible. And then, we can talk afterwards to see if you're eligible for that program. This may not pertain to many of us on the call, but we also pay out incentives for new construction. So if you are expanding your business and you're building a new facility that's generally over 30,000 square feet, we do a lot of design assistance and payout of new construction incentives as well. Moving down to energy wise for business, and I know this is a lot coming at you. So what I would suggest is, if you are listening and you're not positive that your location is energy efficient, or you think there's ways you can make improvements, just reach out to me, and I think over a 30-minute phone conversation, we can go a long ways with helping you plug into some of these programs that we offer. So Energy Wise for Business is a demand response program. So we provide a free Wi-Fi thermostat for you. In return, you enter into a program with us. It's mostly peak reduction. So, in Western North Carolina, a really cold morning, we may curb your usage a bit, but we incentivize you to do that. So it's a program that's pretty popular because, like I said, we come out and we install a free Wi-Fi thermostat that you can now control from your phone. And in return, we incentivize you when we're able to curb those peaks. And then if your business is interested in EV charging, we have several solutions here. So this is a big focal point for our company, is EV charging. And so we have several different solutions here, if that's something of interest to you. And so moving on, we also earlier this year launched a web page. As you can see, we've got 10 or 12 different programs. And then before we launched this page, it was just kind of, you go to our website and it was a little all over the place. Now we've put everything that we offer under one page, and that's the Business Energy Advisor homepage. We have links to all kind of different programs. The programs I
Hey, Brantley, we lost your audio.
mentioned. We have links to
Brantley, it looks like you may have had that timeout issue again.
Yeah, sorry, our network is going crazy. I think I don't know at what point I cut out, but I think I hit most everything that I was wanted to get to. But again, I would just remind everybody to reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns, or we can certainly schedule a quick 15 or 30-minute meeting and schedule some time for me to come over and talk more about your individual location.
All right, great. Well, thank you, everyone. We'll now move into questions and answers or comments. Be happy to take any questions at this point for any of our presenters. Well, I guess I have one. Brantley, are you the primary business energy advisor for our region and the best person to point people to? Brantley, are you there? Sorry. Oh, the joy of virtual meetings. Brantley, can you hear me?
Okay, I've got you now. We're really in and out. Sorry about that.
No, it happens. I was just wondering if you were the primary representative business energy advisor for our region, or if there's anybody else on your team, or if you're just.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much cover all of Western North Carolina, over to Hickory, and then outside of that, we've got 4 total in North Carolina. But if you're in Asheville, Black Mountain, Hendersonville, Hickory, I'll be the contact.
Okay. And we have a question here in the chat. Is there any analysis regarding typical rank order of efficiency improvements by construction / retrofit, vintage, residential or commercial? I'm not sure who that question was directed to, but maybe everyone, I'm not sure.
If you're talking about, it depends what you're ranking it based on. If the rank is by like speed of payback, then I would say the fastest payback tends to be like air sealing, if you have a leaky building, or insulation if you have no insulation or very little insulation. And then from there, it tends to go, it really depends on the building. Controls tend to have a fast payback, less than 5 years or so for an investment in like Wi-Fi thermostats or occupancy sensors and that kind of thing. Also, LEDs, retrofits and upgrades, usually it's 5 years or less. And then from there, maybe it's HVAC and stuff starts to get into the little bit longer paybacks, 5, 10, 20 years. And then once you have like a decent envelope, then building envelope upgrades tend to have really long paybacks. So once you have double pane windows, code insulation, adding more on top of that, it tends to have a long payback. I don't know if that's helpful. That's just like a high level sort of overview.
Yeah, great. I think that's one of the main questions that we see with Blue Horizons project is, we know that there's lots of options of what to choose in terms of energy efficiency and how do you prioritize. And it sounds like our 3 presenting entities today can definitely help make those types of decisions and determine what'll have the shortest payback and really help businesses and nonprofits meet their internal goals for saving money, saving energy, moving towards more sustainable operations, which is awesome. Are there any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I had a question regarding, I think it was Brian that was talking about everything from air sealing, lighting to HVAC and heat pumps. Could you comment on ground source heat pumps versus air source heat pumps, particularly with the rising air temperatures and variability we're experiencing because of climate change per the recent last few years of weather?
Yeah, well, I mean, this isn't a good thing, but actually rising, like if it's warmer in the winter, then heat pumps are actually more effective. Heat pumps in Atlanta, heat pumps are really good. A little bit further north, they're still pretty good. You might, in the Asheville area, you might need to start, making sure that they are, low temperature heat pumps, so that they still, have capacity at lower outdoor temperatures. The benefit of ground source heat pumps is that the ground temperature tends to be more stable year round. So the efficiency is high and stable, you know, kind of regardless of the air temperature. The downside is that they tend to be pretty expensive. So the payback tends to be long when I've done the analysis. But really the further north you get, the shorter the payback is, because the more, you know, heating you'll be doing at low temperatures. And just for reference, you know, ground source heat pumps are not much different than water source heat pumps, which is a really common way of heating and cooling in commercial buildings. So like the technology is there. The main difference is that water source heat pumps in commercial buildings, you're heating up the water, usually with a gas boiler, or cooling down the water with a cooling tower. And then ground source heat pumps, you're just using the ground as the heat sink. But it's still using, you know, it's still using a water loop as you know, the sort of energy depository.
Well, just a connected question on that. Sitting in on some of the presentations by Duke as part of the Blue Horizons Technical Committee, my recollection, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe Brant Best could comment on this, but some of the higher energy demands now are beginning to look like air conditioning, not winter heating. And it seems to be the case or the trend that we're heading towards. Could you comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, we have gone back and forth between when, you know, whether we're a summer peaking company or a winter peaking company, and it's kind of gone back and forth. I would say in Western North Carolina in particular, our biggest load challenges comes early in the morning in December, January, February. And of course, you know, as you go further south, that is the case that it flips, and we're more of a, you know, our challenges are 4 and 5 in the afternoon in July and August. So it really depends on where you're at, and we have challenges during both seasons, certainly.
So just a little context too. So the fact that Asheville in particular is a winter peaking region is one of the primary reasons that the Blue Horizons Project campaign was launched, is to address our peak demand, since that drives the construction of new generation, which at this time is primarily natural gas for this region, which is a fossil fuel. So addressing that peak demand issue, whether you're a home or a business, is incredibly important to creating a pathway to a cleaner energy future here. Any other questions or comments? Not, I will go ahead and pause or stop recording and thank everyone for their time and their expertise, and thanks to our attendees. If you would like to receive a recording of this presentation, please send me your email address either in the chat, and I will get that to you in the next week or so. But thank you again for everybody's time, and hope everybody has a wonderful week.
Thank
Bye.
you.